are Africa.
We never culture rare as denied. Everybody on the African style. Our music make you go wild. I know you get it, get it. We flex, we dress to impress, we call for the best, put us to the test, and it ain't no stress, no settle for less. Cause we are Africa.
Africans louder. We are Africans louder. We are Africans Zimbabwe. Okay. JJC, this all's gonna come back. Oh no. It's the remix. Troublemaker don't come. Yo, Zimbabwe, we reborn, hooray. Africa, we are T-Sangane. Let's come together with one family. Let's make history from today. JJC, I'm from Nigeria. It doesn't matter to leave anywhere, Jira. And if you have no fear, don't stand and stare. Put your fist in the air. All I wanna hear is we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Come on, Africans.
As soon as I said foot on African soil, that's when I get in touch with African style. The Africans and show me African smile. African talent that are well versatile. See African very recording artists, African the wisest, African the smartest, the mentor, the voice, and the juice of the artist. Zimbabwe, we are the breakfast. Listen up. Slanging of the nation, back again with the remix selection. From London to Zimbabwe, all the Africans know we stop the party. And if you know it, put one hand in the air. Scream and shout like you just don't care. African people, if you're strong and proud, repeat after me and say,
We are Africans louder. We are Africans louder. We are Africans. Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans louder. We are Africans. Africans.
I am an African child. Zimbabwe is where I be from. They be checking my style, my swag, my flow. Can't push me cause I know I'm sweet. Got diamonds and gold in Africa. Rhythm and blues in Africa. Beautiful women in Africa.
All right. I hope you guys can see me and we are loud and clear. The chat box is enabled, so please do let me know if you can hear me or cannot hear me. But anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of Tough Love Giggles on your go-to online radio station, After5Radio, dedicated to celebrating Africans in the diaspora. I am your host, aka the hype lady herself, Miss ThandoAmy, coming to you live all the way from Canada. And today we actually have a guest who's actually based in Canada too, so perfect time. Everything is just perfect, so we're loving it. But today we're joined by a woman who is no stranger to courage. I think you've seen lots of bold moves in Edmonton. She's no stranger to courage, conviction, and community. And she's a mindset coach, motivational speaker, and a recent Liberal Party candidate who made bold waves in Edmonton Northwest. So all in less than 30 days of campaigning and securing over 20,000. Guys, when I looked at the numbers, I was like, nah, numbers don't lie. 20,000 votes in less than 30 days. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But beyond the numbers, she's a visionary with a heart for people and a voice for the voiceless. So from political platforms to personal breakthroughs, her journey is a testament that with the right mindset, anything is possible. So please help me welcome Lindsey Machona. Welcome, Lindsey. Welcome. I am trying to get you here. Oh, yay. There we are.
Hello, Amanda. Hi.
How are you?
I am doing amazing. My voice is still hoarse.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I'm like, yo, you caught us off guard, man. You caught us off guard, but not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
We'll unpack that.
Right, we will definitely unpack that. So let's just dive right into it and get to know Lindsey. For those who might not even have an idea, and they're like, okay, those who are not in Canada, maybe, I think you've made your name heard, your voice heard, and your name out there, right? But for those who might just be meeting you now, how would you describe who you are and what drives you at your core?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. And thank you so much for inviting me to your platform to share my story. I am a lot of things.
I
This is one
know.
of the questions that I love answering, but I one of the things that I really love is that I'm a mother. So I
That's
have a
awesome.
19-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and another 4.5-year-old, almost 5-year-old son. So
I know.
that is who I am. Being a mother has been the greatest gift for me. I love doing it. It has its own challenges, but
Mhm.
most of what I do, I do it for my children, and that's because I want to see them prosper. I want to see them become independent, responsible citizens, and so that is what I try and do almost every day of my life. And how I do it is I try to model what I want them to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully they get to see that and appreciate that. And then also, model those qualities that would make them, successful contributing citizens. I am an executive director of a nonprofit here in Edmonton that works locally and also globally. So I get to work with the Canadian government outside of Canada as well, and different organizations that work in poverty reduction initiatives. I have represented Alberta and have been a Canada delegate at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York City in 2023. I have also been invited to speak at events in the United States. I have received nominations for various leadership awards, and I've also been awarded leadership awards for being a woman in leadership. And so I've been in the role that I'm in for the last 7 years and totally loving it. So my work is to help children get access to quality education where there is none. That is my main job. That is my 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I have built a career around helping professionals and specifically women who want to be in leadership positions, increase their confidence, realize who they are, realize how much power they have to make a difference, and how to harness their unique skills, experiences, and talents to create a brand that will get them from where they are to where they want to be in terms of their personal and professional development. So this was built from my own journey with struggling with self-confidence when I came to Canada. I struggled with imposter syndrome. I felt really small. I
Mm,
felt I didn't belong. And
mhm.
one day I just got tired of it all. And I remember typing into Google how to be confident. Not
Oh,
because I was
wow.
confident when I was in Zimbabwe, but just being in this new place where I felt alienated, had been uprooted from my roots and my social support. I was in this place where I was trying to find myself again, and I struggled, like most immigrants would have struggled as well. So I won't belabor that point. The challenges that come with settling in a new country. I went through all of that, but I decided to take a hold of my journey again and find myself because I knew what I
Mm,
wanted. I knew what I wanted to create. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and I knew also that nobody else was going to do it for me. If I had
mm,
to create the life and the results that I wanted, I had to do it. I had to step up, and step up I did. And then after I learned how to transform myself, especially my thinking and my
yeah.
habits, I started sharing and
Yeah.
helping others do the same. So you'll find my social media really has a lot of mindset work, mindset shift, how to
Mhm.
achieve inner transformation so you can create the world that you want on the
Mhm.
outside. And so that is me. That is in a nutshell. That is me.
You know what I you've actually I just hope people are listening at this part because I bet you get asked the same question that I get asked. You mentioned I do a lot of things. I do not have kids and your mother. And I get this question a lot of times. And you already know my background. You know what I do. I do a lot of things too, right?
Right.
But I get this and then I have a 9 to 5. Yeah. And then I get a question and then now I go to school. right? And then I get a question. So when do you do all of that? When do you understand? So how do you manage your time? When do you find time for all of that? And then considering that your mother, because I also get people say, Amanda, do what you can right now before you're a mother. So I find people who are mothers, people who have responsibilities, more responsibilities than I do, still doing it. And that is no excuse for somebody who doesn't have responsibilities. So do you mind just tackling into that?
Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind for me when I think about how I manage my life and being able to do so many things is what my mother taught me.
Mm,
So, my mother taught me a very good work ethic.
mm,
And of course, now looking back, maybe it's not as healthy. Now I've learned to balance
balance.
my life and work. But my mother was the kind of person who did not allow me to sit down.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
did not.
Where we come from.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, where we come from. So whenever she saw you sitting down, she's like, "Oh, you don't have anything to do? I'll give you
Yep.
something to do."
I tell you, I'll give you something to do. Trust me, we know that statement. My grandma was the same. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you can relate.
Yeah.
So that taught me to multitask
Yeah.
and to be able to manage a lot of things at the same time.
Okay.
Of course, now I know how to handle that. I know how to manage my time in terms of what do I need to get done? How
Mm-hmm.
long is this going to take me? But also to look at what resources I need to be able to do a task
Mm-hmm.
successfully. And then
Okay.
also, I have learned now to ask for help and for support. So I don't do this because I can. I'm able to do this because I have others supporting me.
Mm.
So my family is very supportive. They support me when I need it. They ask me when I need help, and
Oh,
I also
wow.
ask them when I need help. I
Yeah.
have friends who show up, who know all the things that I do, and sometimes just connect me with opportunities. So sometimes it's not that I'm out there looking for opportunities, but through cultivating good relationships with others,
Yeah.
they get to advocate for me. And then when they see opportunities, they speak up for me, and then they come to me and say, "Hey, this is something that I think you might be interested in. You might want to check it out." And then I
Mm.
do, and I get involved at that point. But I've not actually been the one to do all the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
so what I'm saying here is you need community,
Yeah.
you need partnerships, you need others. Otherwise, you burn out if you think
Yeah.
you can do it all by yourself. And I would never encourage anybody to think that they are self-made or that they can do it all by themselves. We need
Mm.
each other, and this has been a consistent message, not just in my career, but also in the work that I do. We are built to connect with others and to work with
Mm.
others, and we succeed when we actually lift each other up. And so that's a value that I actually live by and practice in real
Mm.
life. It's not just me, it's other people. And I'm reminded of this quote that says, I can see further because I stand on the shoulders of giants. So I have giants in my life
Mm.
whose shoulders I actually stand on because they allow me to stand on their shoulders and I can see much further. That is how I would sum up how I'm able to do a lot of things and see even further. It's because of community and family.
And that is awesome, which is good. You've brought us something that wasn't even in the question. So here's a question. How then do people let go and ask for that help? Because keep in mind, where we come from, like I wouldn't know with other cultures. There's a bit of competition. There's a bit of people have been burnt before. How does somebody trust to let go of some things? Because keep in mind, one thing we need to learn is there's only one Lindsay. Do you understand? There's only one Lindsay, there's only one Amanda. But how do people learn to let go without the fear of, oh my gosh, this person is going to step on my toes, or this person is going to go before me? And like you said, people need to create valuable relationships that speak your name in rooms. Do you understand? how do you get those relationships, and how do you learn to let go and ask for the help
Okay,
without
so
feeling some type of way or anybody trying to do
right. Okay,
anything?
so I'll start with how do you let go?
Hmm.
You do. You just have to let go, and
Yeah.
it's a process. It's
Yeah.
not easy. I remember thinking that if I don't do it, either it's not going to get done, or if it's done, it's not going to get done
It's
perfectly.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I needed to get over thinking that. And really, it's a matter of understanding that each person is going to carry out a task differently,
Yeah.
and they're going to have a different result. And
Mm.
so, being okay with things not being done to the standard that I expect really helped. But to reward and to be grateful for effort and
That's
support,
it.
and
Hmm.
realizing that when people do things, when people start working on things, they do get better at it over time.
Yeah.
Remember, they haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
So yes, so it's just like my family having to start making dinner. It's
Hmm.
not going to be perfect in the beginning because they're not used to doing it. So you're going to have
Exactly.
burnt dinner from time to time. But just being grateful that okay, these guys are
Exactly.
trying.
I know. Yeah.
So it's a matter of understanding what you can control and what you
Mm.
cannot control. That has really helped me create a sense of peace and
Yeah.
understanding, and not to stress about
Yeah.
the small details. And
Right.
so just letting go and understanding that people do their best, and when they do their best, be grateful for that, and understanding that they are on their journey and they will get better at it. I wasn't good at everything that I'm good at now. There was a time that I really was bad at certain tasks, but
Yeah.
because I kept doing them, I got better at them. So extending the same grace to
Yeah.
others really, really helped me, and trusting that it will get done eventually. They will get to it, and that they can do it in their own way. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. There's no one way of doing anything ever. And
Right.
we're not the same people. So everything is going to be done differently, and that's totally okay, as long as it gets done, and it will get
Right.
done. And
Right.
then your second question is about how I create those relationships. So I'll tell you, my biggest value is kindness.
Yeah.
And I'll share something with you that even up to this day, I still struggle with when it comes to me standing in that value in every interaction that I have. I still feel sometimes that kindness is seen as weakness, that when I extend kindness to people, I have a fear that other people see that and say, you are tolerating disrespect, you are
Hmm.
tolerating nonsense, you
Hmm.
should stand your ground, you should put people in their place.
Hmm.
And but when I try to go into that energy, it doesn't feel authentic to me. And I
Mm.
remind myself that if kindness is what I was meant to bring to this world through my existence in the time that I'm here, then I'm going to do that. Other
Yeah.
people are going to bring whatever it is that they were meant to bring,
True.
and
Yeah.
that's totally okay. And so
Yeah.
that's how I have been processing this. It doesn't mean that I tolerate disrespect. It just means that even when I address issues, I'm leading with kindness. That means
Mm.
the words that I use, the
Mm.
tone of my voice, even when having difficult conversations, is rooted in that value. Am I being kind to this person that I'm having a conversation with in a manner that after this conversation, they're going to feel whole, they're going to be okay, and
Hmm.
I have not put them down. So even when I address issues, I still lead with kindness.
With
And
kindness.
so I find that me being authentic with that value has opened so many doors for me,
Doors.
because
Yeah.
I, you get the same energy that you give out.
Yeah.
It's returned to you 100%, and I've seen that
Mm.
in my life based on evidence. Whatever I put out there has really come back to me in massive ways. And
Yeah.
so be authentic to who you are, regardless of what people or society says. Just be authentic. I was
Just be
talking
real.
I was talking
Just be real. Just be
yes,
real. Just be you.
I was talking to a cousin recently, and I said, sometimes I look at you and I'm thinking, I should be more like you in terms of just, I don't like what you just did and things like that. And she's like, oh my goodness, no, I'll be thinking the opposite. I'm thinking I should actually be like Lindsay. Like Lindsay takes her time to
Yeah.
respond. She is very calm when she responds, and I want to be more
Yeah.
like her. And in the meantime, you're thinking you want to be like me. So you know what? Let's all agree that let's just be who we are. Just
Who we are.
be who you are, and you feel so much better, and you show up in your truth when you're just true and authentic to who
So
you are.
how do you then, sorry to cut you off. So how do you then draw the line, have boundaries? Because that's the one thing that took me a while to learn because of that. There's moments where I used to get that statement, oh, you always laugh at everything. Why don't you just say it right away? Why don't you? Do you understand? I've always had that too. And creating boundaries has been so uncomfortable, that I'll tell you. But how then do you put your boundaries from a different kind of person, a different kind of person, because I can so relate to those statements to, oh yeah, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? But then again, I am known for being stern as well. And then there's some like moments where you're like, oh no, but then I should have drawn the line. So how do you do that when you want to encourage somebody who doesn't know how to draw the line as kind as they are?
So I would say two things.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, notice how something makes you feel.
Feel.
Your body
Gotcha.
would never lie to you.
That's
If
it.
if you feel a certain sensation because of something that somebody
Yeah.
has done or something that somebody has said, listen to that. Then explore that. Why did this make me feel this way? And what feeling and emotion did I experience?
Mm,
Be clear about that, and then go
mm,
and have the conversation. Don't ignore when something makes you feel a certain way, like physically in your body.
mm,
Like,
mm,
notice the sensations. That
mm.
means that somebody has crossed a line when that happens. Now,
Yeah.
for me, I am somebody who, yeah, I have a higher threshold, and so
Mm,
it'll take a lot to get to me. And
yeah.
that's from years of cultivating,
Yeah.
a thick skin, I would say. I would easily cry if somebody ever said anything mean, or if I thought somebody was not happy with me, justified or
Yeah.
unjustified. I
Yeah.
was a people pleaser. I was a
Mm.
chronic people pleaser who wanted to make sure everybody was
Everybody's
okay.
okay. Mm.
But you cannot do it. You
Nope.
cannot make sure everybody is okay. And so the second thing tied to this point that I've just
Mm.
said is you have to realize that other people are responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
That was a lesson that I had to learn. Because I'm a firstborn.
Mm.
I
Mm.
took all the responsibilities on my shoulders. I took on the responsibility of being carer, of being a savior, of being a problem solver to everybody who was around me. And I burned out. I became resentful when that wasn't returned to me because I taught people to see me as those things, right? But then I realized if I had taught them to see me as those things,
You can reteach them
it
some.
was also on me to unteach them and say, okay, no, this is where this ends. I also need to take care of myself. So I let go of the responsibility of being responsible, especially for adults.
Mm.
If you're an adult, I created a boundary that said, if you're an adult, you need to be able to do 1, 2, 3 things. And
And you're not crippled.
if you cannot, that's on you. That's totally not my responsibility at all. And so that was a game changer for me. Yes, I learned to draw the line between what I'm responsible for when it comes to other people and the relationships that I have with them and what they are responsible for. And having those lines really helped. So it's clear. If I look at what's happening and say, this is where my I was just about to. This is where my responsibilities end.
Yeah.
This is where your responsibilities begin.
Begin
And so we're clear about that. And then I set the boundary that way. So
that way.
those two things, noticing how things or how certain actions and words make me feel, and then connecting with that and being clear with that, and then saying, okay, I did not feel okay with this because definitely maybe a certain value of mine was violated. Then I communicate that. And then also just, being thoughtful and being analytical about, okay, in this situation, this is not mine. I'm not carrying
Yeah.
it. It's not mine.
Yeah.
Everybody, like I said, it ties to that idea of community and us working together. You have to carry your duties.
Yeah.
I also have to carry mine. Each person has to play their part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how that has helped me with setting boundaries a lot.
And the one thing that we like, especially from the African culture, which I am learning now, I used to take for granted, is having life coaches. Life coaches have going for therapy. Do you understand? Because there's also hidden things that are in people's actions, and that's a lot of things that we need to kind of learn or teach each other as the African community, to say it's okay to go for therapy. It's okay to look for a life coach to learn. And like you're saying, who would have thought or known to say, listen to your body, unless you hear it from a life coach, unless you hear it from a therapist and stuff like that. So I am glad that you're giving us all these, jams, and we're going to get into your life coaching journey. But before we get into that, you recently ran for office in Edmonton Northwest, which, holy lady, you know what? This gets me excited. You know my energy. Yeah, you said the vibrant
Yeah.
girl. Before I ask my question, can we just get into this one now? I know we just got a congratulations, by the way. I'm not too sure who this one is. Our thingy is not showing. It says congratulations, Facebook user. Whoever's watching, guys, just come through. Let us know where you're listening or watching from, and we'll give you a shout out. And we're getting into the moment. Lindsey, let's talk about when we did our vision boards. I think people are like, what do you mean? Trust me, we did our vision boards. And when I saw that post, and this is why I just needed to sit down with you. To me, this is huge. And this is something that people take for granted. And I think this is something that will inspire, motivate people to say vision boards are real. It is even biblical. It's biblical. It is actually in Habakkuk 2, I think. Habakkuk 2 verse. You understand? So it's like, let's talk about the vision boards. Let me not say much and take your time. Let's talk about the moment we did the vision boards, and then tie it into how you eventually ran for office for the Edmonton Northwest. Vision boards.
When did we do that vision board party? That was in 2018,
19.
20.
No.
17, probably. Yes, 2017. That was 17. When we did. Yeah, I think it was 2017. That's when. Yes, it was in 2017.
Yes, you're right.
December of 2017, I think, when we came together, and I said, let's create a vision board, and it was just maybe 10, 15 of us, between 10 and 15 of us.
10 to 15 women.
Yes. And we came together and we challenged each other to dream big and to dream much bigger than our circumstances allowed then. We were not who we are today. But what I can say is we allowed ourselves to really dream big, and we pushed each other to dream big. And one of the things I had on there was being a speaker, and also being an author, which I have not been, well, kind of in a way, but I have a podcast now, so I could say I'm a speaker, and I've been invited to speak at different events, and I'm speaking right now. So I would say that dream has come true. But yes, like Habakkuk really just puts it plainly that write the vision and make it plain.
Make it plain.
Yes. So you've got to have a vision. And once you have a vision, make sure it's etched onto your heart and onto your mind. And you think about it, you tell others about it, you discuss it,
Yeah.
you imagine it.
Mm.
Imagine everything that you want to be. I have always been a big visualizer. Even when I was a young girl, I
Yeah.
was what you would call a unconscious competent. This is where
Okay.
when you're good at something and you don't even know why you're doing it or that you're even good at it.
Mm.
So I used to visualize even as a young girl. And I can tell you right now that maybe when I was as young as 10, I visualized this, what I am today. I would think and imagine me being I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. For those who are watching, I don't know that
Mm.
that about me. But I would imagine me being in a land far away. And then it was the UK, because that is what I saw on television.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine being in this land and then doing big things. Like I was a community leader, I was a community builder, and I visualized that. And it has come to pass from as young as 10 years old. So
Mm.
visualization has been a part of who I am. I don't know whether that was just a gift that I had, but I do visualize things and they come true. I was just talking to somebody recently, I think it was 2 days ago, actually, when I say to them the very first, and I'll share this with you, the
Mm.
very first time that I realized I had some sort of, I don't know whether it's luck. Yeah, some people don't like luck, using the
Mm.
word luck, whether
Blessings.
it's a
Some people
gift
say
or whatever it
blessing.
is. But I'll share this with you, and this one, the very first time with you, and I'll tell you that I've heard so many more in my life.
Mm.
One time I was doing my A levels, and it was the last day of school, and a friend of mine was selling raffle tickets for a 50-50 draw at school back in Zimbabwe. And so
Yeah.
I would have been 18, 19 years old. And then just before the final assembly on the last day of school, she came to me and she said, Lindsay, did you buy a ticket? And I said, no. And then she said, well, you need to buy a ticket because the draw is going to be like in a couple of minutes during
Mm.
final assembly. And I say to her, oh, okay, all right, let me buy a ticket. And then
Mm.
I said to her, I looked at the tickets that she had, and they were numbered from A1, B2, the alphabet and letters.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, maybe I'd read somewhere that my date of birth is my lucky number or whatever it was, but I picked 10J because I was born on the 10th of October. J is
Mm.
the 10th letter. And so I said, okay, give me ticket number 10J. And she gave me, the transaction happened. I got my ticket. And then I say to her, does my blazer look okay? Because I am going to go up the stage and collect my prize. And she said, yeah, you look good. You look good.
Mm-hmm.
We go into assembly. The headmaster, gives his speech and everything. And then it came time for the draw, and it was this big bag with a lot of tickets. And then he just dipped his hand in there and pulled out ticket number 10J. And for sure, I went up on stage to collect it. And that was the first time that I was able to just say something and it happened. I tell you, it still happens to this day that I say something. I just say, this is what's going to happen, or that is mine. And immediately, it freaks me out sometimes, but that has happened, and it's still happening in my life. So I do believe that our words have the power if you speak them with conviction. Say what you want. And like those vision boards, I put it on there exactly who I wanted to be. I wanted to serve my community. I wanted to be a leader. I put it on my vision board, and those things have been coming true for me. And so if you're listening right now, if you have something that's on your heart and you don't see the means to achieving it right now, don't worry
It's
about that.
okay.
The how is not yours to worry about. I can tell you that some things have come to me. I have
Yeah.
just expressed what I want. And
Mm.
some things have actually literally come to me because I have expressed, what I want. So don't worry about not having the means, not having the qualifications, not being the right age, not being the right gender, not being the right skin color. There is nothing like that. Just say what you want like you deserve it, because you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then just put it out there and not worry about the how. Because the moment you start thinking, I want to start $1
Yeah.
million business, and
Mm.
you look at your current paycheck and you're like, but I'm only earning $1,000 $1 million is not going to be possible. You've already talked yourself out of your success before you've even begun. So,
and you've already agreed with the negativity, right?
Yes. The how is not yours to worry about. Just focus on what you want and think about just the one simplest step that you can take. What is it that you need to do? Then start there. Everything else will be revealed as you take the action. And you will notice, believe me, that when you step out in confidence and in full trust that what you want is available and you deserve it, resources will start showing up. Have you ever noticed how you see something or you read something and you're like, I just had a question about that. Well, this is exactly what I want to do. And how did this person just talk about this thing?
Yeah.
We must believe that we have support.
Life and death lie in the power of the tongue.
Yes. And so that support for me is divine. It's something that is much bigger than I am. And I believe that I am spiritually led 100%. I believe that. And I trust that I've seen the evidence. And therefore, I believe if you have not, I want to challenge you to just do it. Just try it. Give it a try and say, this is what I want. This is what I desire. And be clear about why you desire those things. Why did I desire to serve and be a leader in my community? Because I know I have something to bring to the table, which is a combination of who I've been and everything that I've gone through that I want to share and make our communities better and make other people's lives better. My goal is to just make sure that every person that I meet is better because they met with me. And that I am also better because I interacted with that person. And so be clear about your why. It's important to be clear about why you want something. And even if it's money driven, that's totally fine. Don't feel bad. If the reason you want to start a business is because you want to make money, that's totally okay.
That's fine.
Don't feel judged about wanting that, because you know what? The world we live in revolves around money. If you want to do good, you're probably going to give to community and causes that you care about because you have the money. You get things done if you have the money. But also, if you don't have it, don't let that be a limitation as well. Remember, each and every one of us has our own journey. Be clear on your own journey. What is it? What are you meant to bring? And maybe your journey does not include using money to make a difference. I know people who've made a difference without money, but using the power of their voice. And so just be clear about who you are, your why, and why you are here.
Exactly. And by the way, just a reminder, Lindsey, remember when I said I was going to interview Lindsey? Just so you know, we spoke it, and here we are. We spoke it.
We were going to do this interview years ago.
During the pandemic, 2020. During the pandemic, we were meant to do this interview, but it just wasn't time. I would like to believe it just wasn't time. And we actually did a bet, and that bet we're here to talk about it, not today, but in the future, because we're headed there. So I love this. I love this moment, and I just hope it's inspiring to a whole lot of people that, like you said, going on the spiritual side of things, everything is written. It is written. Just write it plain and simple. It is written. Life and death lie in the power of the tongue. What you say is what will come to fruition, whether positive, whether negative. If you think you're the worst person in the world, guess what? You become the worst person in the world. If you think you're this kind person in the world, guess what? People will see you as the kindest person in the world. If you think you are so beautiful, you'll find 10 people telling you on that day that you are beautiful. Do you understand? So this is, amazing that you actually got to share that, to say life and death lie in the power of the tongue, and just writing it down. And I just thought we should bring up the whole vision board moment, because some people take those things for granted and say, but I have minus in my account. Do you understand? But speak it into existence and it'll come to pass. So as you eventually decided to, branch out and just step into something different, what inspired you to step into the political arena specifically, and especially in such a short campaign window? Because when you just threw it out there, and I'm like, it surprised a lot of people, but at the same time, for those who kind of know the background, we're like, okay, but we're really not surprised. So what inspired you to get into the political arena?
I would say I got interested in politics when I was in Zimbabwe
Yeah.
with student activism at the University of Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always tell people that if my mom and my dad knew what I was up to, they would have been really mad and
And
told me
talked you
not
out of it.
get involved with student activism. I wasn't a
Yeah.
leader then. I
Yeah.
was a follower, but just what happened in Zimbabwe in 1990, no, in 2003,
Yeah.
with what we called payouts for students,
Okay.
when the government of Zimbabwe withdrew those and there were massive demonstrations by students. I also registered my discontent with that move because it disenfranchised a lot of students who relied on government support to get higher education. And
Mm.
so I realized that we need to hold governments accountable, and that sometimes they make policies that make life difficult for the ordinary person. And so I realized that we need to speak up. And so that really got me very excited, when standing up for something and saying, this is what we want. This is what we the students want. And we want you, the government, to act. We want you to reverse that. Of course, it never happened. But but the
Mm.
fact that, I lent my voice to that
Yeah.
a fight really started me on a journey where I realized that we have a lot of injustice that
Yeah.
happens, and that we need to speak up, not just when things affect us, because
Mm.
that's also the other challenge. Sometimes we sit back and we just watch, especially
Mm.
when the state is being unfair to a certain group, and because
Yeah.
we don't belong to that group, we don't feel that we have a bone in the fight.
Yeah.
But really, what I say is, operate on principle, live
Yeah.
on principle. Look
Mm.
at an issue and say, even though I'm not a member of this group, I see the injustice and
Yeah.
I should act because
Yeah.
we all share our humanity,
Yeah.
really. And I've been saying this, that when the state, for example, is oppressive to one group of people, they rarely stop with that one group. After
Mm.
them is the next group, is the next
Yeah.
group. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you're being affected as well. And then you
As well.
only then do you start speaking up. But
Mm.
things have already gone out of hand. And so I say, stand on principle. If there is injustice, speak up and say, okay, go to that community, to that group of people and say, I see what you're struggling with. Can I learn more? Can you share your stories? Can you tell me what this is about? And then learn, let them teach you, let them show you what they're going through, and then ask them how you can support, how you can lend your voice. And that's
Mm.
unity, that's creating unity.
Mm.
When we create unity, we make change. We can make
That's
change.
it.
We shouldn't just leave it to, one group to deal with their issues. It's
Mm.
everybody's issues when we share, a city, for example, or even a country, right?
Mm.
Should be everybody's responsibility to make sure that every citizen in that country is safe, is taken
Yeah.
care of, is heard, and that they have a voice and that their issues are addressed. And so that's a principle that I live by. And so and I realize that politics is where most policies that affect a whole gamut of everything that's to do with our lives is where the decisions are made.
Yeah.
And so, if we're to make a difference, for me, that is, I truly believe that it's in politics. It's
Right.
where you can have the loudest voice and demand the biggest changes that will affect society. And so, for me, it's about leveraging a platform where the big decisions are made. And I feel like I felt like that is where I needed to be. I felt like that is where my voice would have been most useful. Yes,
Mm.
I still do other work that still makes a difference
Mm.
in the nonprofit work that I do, but there is also this arena and this platform of politics where we can really make a difference by participating. And I want to say to our Black community specifically,
Mm.
and I can speak to that a little bit. From where we come from in Africa, we don't have the best experiences with politics.
That's true.
Sometimes participating and getting involved in politics could mean life and death.
Life and yeah.
Yes. And so there's that fear of being political. And sometimes we immigrate to these countries like Canada, United States, Australia, United Kingdom, and we still carry that fear and that trauma that's related to politics with us. And we fear getting involved in politics. But I want to challenge our community to be involved. If it reaches down into your pocket, I think somebody recently shared this, it is political. Everything is political. You cannot ignore it. You have to participate. I'm not saying run for office if you don't feel called to do that. If you feel called to do that, 100% step up and do it. But also, you can support somebody who is running for office. That may just be your role. You can support them by donating to their campaign. You can support them by rallying others to go and vote. On voting day, everybody, let's just get together and go and vote. It is the simplest way for every citizen to express themselves, to share their voice, and to be involved in the kind of leader and the kind of leadership that gets to lead them for the next 4 years in Canada, for example.
Right.
So participate. Civic engagement it's a must. Otherwise, you're not seen, you're not heard, and then you still face challenges, and then you still cry that nobody is hearing you. But are you speaking up, or are you just on the margins? So show up. We have a big community here. Let's show up. Let's come together. And so that is one thing right now that I would love to do, to bring our community together and say, let's participate in Canadian politics, or wherever you are. If you're watching, if you're in another country, really get involved in the politics and just choose how and where you want to be involved. But apathy is not an option. Definitely not. You cannot say, this doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to get involved. There is something that you can do. Just do it. Like going to vote, for example, it's secret. Like, you don't need to tell anybody who you voted for, but express yourself quietly. If you feel like you don't want to be seen and you don't want to attract attention to yourself. So there is no excuse. You can't tell me you didn't vote, not because, there was fear. No, there is no fear because it's secret, right?
Yeah.
So show up in some shape or form for yourselves, not even for the candidate, because when you vote, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for the other person. So I would want to challenge, our Black communities everywhere. Be involved in politics, be involved in civic engagement, be part of the conversation. Start the conversations if you must. Don't wait on somebody else to do it for you, somebody to advocate for you. Really, at the end of the day, just like I decided so many years ago that nobody was coming to save me or rescue me, and decided to step up, realize that nobody else is going to do that. Nobody can do your push-ups for you. You have to do your own push-ups. And so let's do our own push-ups by getting involved. Let's be heard. We're powerful and we have something to say.
Right. And you know what? Actually right here we got I'm not sure why our comments are not showing on the platform that we're using right now, but I just went on our Facebook, and shout out to Uncle Nick, who just said, we're proud of you for taking the bold stand in Canadian politics. And like you said, a lot of people have this in their head, listen, don't talk about politics because it's this. And like you said, where we come from, it's a fear that has been instilled in us not to do that because there's only one ruling party. Right, which puts fear in people. And I too started understanding. I don't fully understand, but because like you said, it's our day-to-day life, where how am I going to make ends meet? Do you understand? It's reality, it's life, it's day-to-day living, right? So it kind of opens up your eyes. And when you're like, how come the gas is good? And I never used to be somebody who listens to the news, but I listen to the news every morning. I'm like, nah, but how can this happen? Nah, this is uncalled for. And it kind of gives you knowledge on what to do if moments like this come, right? And you're like, okay, but whose policies are better? Because I am a single person, and can I afford to do this, go that way or this way? So it makes sense, right? And I know where we come from. We can't talk about politics, but you know what? We're so proud of you, and this is why I was like, yes, coming from Zim, representing in Canada. I think you already imagined me.
Yeah, I know you, Amanda. I know you. You don't need to paint the picture.
I was like, yes. And then I was like, guys, did you see? Did you see? Did you see? You know, it was so exciting. I was like, yeah, I am so proud of her. And thank you so much. Even Uncle Nick is like, we're so proud of you for taking a stand, because it is definitely not easy. But running within 30 days was no small feat, that's for sure.
Yes.
So, what were some of the biggest challenges? Because definitely you probably faced lots of challenges, but the numbers surprised us. The numbers surprised us. But we had an unexpected wins, and you encountered, but then you had stuff that you encountered, like the challenges.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Overall, I would say this race was amazing.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel awesome. And that may be confusing to people because I didn't win, but I tell you,
Yeah.
I feel still to
Yeah.
this day that I won in
You
so
won.
many ways.
Yeah.
On a personal level,
Hmm.
this was a very fulfilling journey for me. On
Yeah.
a professional level as well, I learned a lot. I learned
Mm.
to work with diverse groups.
Mm.
My world became bigger.
Mm.
My perspective became wider
Yeah.
because I got exposed to, I guess, a part of our lives that I had not been exposed to because I was just an ordinary citizen going about, my ordinary life. But
Mm.
being a candidate opened me up to communicating and connecting with so many groups,
Yeah.
with various cultural groups in Edmonton Northwest, for example, that have
Mm.
very different interests, that
Yeah.
face very different challenges.
Yeah.
Yes, we have common challenges that we face as Canadians, but
Hmm.
also we are not homogeneous. Each
Yeah.
and every group has specific challenges that are very different that they face. And so I got to learn and I got to know about those challenges. I got
Mm.
to connect with businesses and hearing from businesses the unique challenges that they have. And within businesses, there are different industries as well. And so
Mm.
each industry faces different and unique challenges, and they want different solutions.
Right.
And they have different proposals about what they think should happen to ensure that they become successful and sustainable. And so
Yeah.
I got to hear all of that. I am so much richer today than I was last month
Yeah.
because of my participating in this journey. And I've gotten so excited in being part of the conversation, especially in terms of policy
Mm.
and how our municipal government is run, how our
Mm.
provincial government is run, and how
Mm.
the federal government is run, and also just understanding what each lever of government is responsible for. It's not clear to everybody out there. Okay, when we talk about roads, who is responsible for this? When we talk about healthcare, who is responsible for healthcare? When we
Mm.
talk about the military and things like, or maybe the military is obvious, like it's the
Yeah.
federal government, but who is responsible for what? And so
Yeah.
if I am unhappy and I want a change, who do I approach? And I
Yeah.
feel like we most of us are not really clear because I didn't complete high school or elementary school here in education, so that in Canada, so that was not part of my curriculum.
Yeah.
So I may not have that knowledge, and other people too may not have that knowledge, but I feel like there is an opportunity for us here to learn how all these levers of government work and
Mhm.
and get involved. I would say yes, everything was rushed. We faced challenges with getting people together, with getting some volunteers, but we got amazing people that were dedicated, that
Yeah.
jumped on board.
Yeah.
Of course, fundraising was an issue. This was
Mhm.
a brand new riding that wasn't
Mm.
in existence in the past election. And
Okay.
so a committee wasn't available that would have been putting things in place for whoever was going to be a candidate to ensure that they would be successful.
Mm.
So we started doing that, right from scratch. So fundraising was an issue. Yes, it picked up.
Mhm.
at the end of it, yes. But in the beginning, it was really challenging. And as well as just getting to as many people. There was
Yeah.
just no time to
Yeah.
connect with people. We knocked on doors almost daily. I answered phone calls. I responded to emails. I was on social media. So I tried using very different platforms to try to reach as many people as possible. But the timing just wasn't enough for me
Yeah.
to connect with as many people as possible. With regards to the numbers, I would say, yes, our supporters would have voted regardless. Some people voted because, voting for me meant, they would vote for Mark Carney, because you know how
Yeah.
our Canadian political system works.
Political. Yeah.
Yes. And then also there were some people who were really interested in knowing me as a person, who
Yeah.
said, I want to vote for you, but I don't know who you are. Can you tell
Yeah.
me who you are? What are you all about? And so
Yeah.
there was a segment of our population who actually wanted to connect with me, who wanted to know who the candidate is. Yes, they could have voted for the party. Yes, they could have voted for Prime Minister Mark Carney, but they also wanted that piece, like the whole
Yeah.
puzzle to be complete. Like, okay, the party, the Prime Minister, and also the candidate.
The
They
candidate.
wanted to know who I was. So I talked a lot about myself.
Yeah, because I was about to ask, the following question was what resonated with the community? Did you understand? Because
Yes.
of course they're like, okay, voting for Lindsey means Mark, but who is Lindsey?
Right.
Where is she from? Why Zimbabwe? Why Canadian politics? Do you understand? And then, so why are you choosing, right? So what resonated with the community in your running?
I would say my work in poverty reduction and in the
Ooh,
nonprofit sector, yes, and
right.
also me being a woman and
Yeah.
being a mother. I have been hearing a lot about how women politicians, especially in Canada,
Yeah.
have been very responsive to their
Yeah.
constituents, and people expressing that when they had a female representative, the lines of communication were more open,
Yeah.
and they were more responsive. And that's because I think, well, women naturally are more compassionate. Like,
Yeah.
we know how to take care of business, we know how to take care of others. Again, I would say also remember to take care of yourself. Yeah, you need the
Yeah.
balance, but also that's a quality that we have, that we need to bring into politics. And
Yeah.
so that resonated, and I made a case for myself as a female candidate, and people loved hearing that. And I said, and also I'm a woman. And
Right?
here is why we
Exactly.
need more women in
Just so
politics.
you know.
And then I had people that actually said, you've given me something to think about. You've actually changed my mind on that. I'm still not going to vote for you because I don't vote for your political party. But
Yeah.
I really like that we had this conversation, and you
Yeah.
gave me something to think about.
Right.
So I loved those moments. Those were some of my best moments, when
Yeah.
somebody said, I'm not going to vote for you, but we've established a relationship and we've had a
Right.
great conversation as an Edmontonians and as Canadians. So really liked that part. But yeah, the challenges, Amy, were there, but also we balanced it out with so many wins for the team of volunteers, for the advisors that we had, for the results that we got. I'm thankful to everybody who voted and trusted that if I had won, I would be a great representative for Edmonton Northwest. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we've built the base, we have built a foundation, we'll keep building on that. And that is how I am choosing to move forward from this. We had a great start. Is how
Actually, you know what? I know with Lindsey, it's not yet over until it's over. So
Absolutely. Yes, that's right.
it's not yet over
No,
until
no,
it's
no, no.
over.
We
So
don't give up. We
no,
don't.
we don't
Yeah.
give up. And I love the fact that you said already it was a win. People need to count those small wins. Do
Yes.
you understand?
Yes.
And say this is actually a win. To me, even when I saw the number, I was like, you know what? I am actually proud of Lindsey. Regardless, I am proud. I know people would say, but she didn't get. No. The bold move
Yes.
is a win. You understand? Which is so phenomenal. And then now that the campaign has ended, how has the experience shaped you in your shaped your view as a leadership, as a leader, really, and also in representation and civic engagement? Because of course this is something that kind of shifted for a second, and then now you're like, wow, that was quick, that was fast, that was a roller coaster. But then what did I learn from this other than just being proud of the the small moments, engaging with people, and being around the community?
Yeah, I would say it was not an event, 100%. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, it was an event in that it was, okay, 39 days. This is when we need to have this election and get it done.
Yeah.
But also for me, I'm framing it as it's a process.
Yeah.
So it's a process that we started, not just myself, but everybody who was involved, and we're still on that journey, and
Yeah.
and we're moving forward with this. So my perspective, like I said, was really shifted in terms of understanding that I am part of a bigger community. I need that community, and also I guess from what people have expressed, that community needs me, and me, not me specifically, but me as a representative of people that show up to lead. So we need each other. We need that relationship. And so
Yeah.
that has only strengthened my resolve to want to keep showing up for my
Yeah.
community and get involved in so many different ways. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing that will come out of this is, these seeds that we continue to sow in between the elections,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's these seeds that we're going to sow by continuing to have the conversations, continuing to connect with people, caring about them, and finding out, how they're doing. You make a connection with somebody, keep that connection,
Yeah.
maintain that connection,
Yeah.
and continue to support, even
Yeah.
if it doesn't lead to you getting into a certain position, but just because you
Yeah.
care, and
Yeah.
you are a decent human being who
Yeah.
knows that you need community. And so for me, my community has been expanded
Yeah.
so much, and I would like to keep expanding it. I want us to have deeper conversations, challenging conversations. I want us to shift our mindsets. I want us to learn together about what it means to truly be a citizen,
Yeah.
and how you being a citizen is important and is tied to the world, or city, or even country that we get to create. So that is what I'm taking from this, that I still have a role, I still have a part to play as
Yeah.
part of a bigger community.
Community.
And that is the biggest lesson that I took from this.
Oh, we love that. But as we're about to conclude today's interview, I know we've had so much to talk about, especially in the political arena. But just to touch a little bit on the mindset and motivation bits, you are a mindset coach, which we've established at the beginning of the conversation. So how did that role influence the way you approached your campaign, especially under pressure? Because it's one thing they say a doctor cannot heal himself or take care of himself. But as a mindset coach, how did that help you in a way to stay focused and still remember how it's done, say, if you weren't a mindset coach and you needed to go and get help from somebody?
Oh yeah, if I weren't a mindset coach, I would have lost it when people called me a libtard.
Yeah, right. I saw that. Yes. I saw
I
that
would totally have
yesterday.
lost it. But that was
And
old
you
news.
had to create your own acronym. Like, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Yes. So mindset, working on mindset and
Yeah.
sharing about mindset really prepared me for this moment,
Yeah.
because again, those boundaries. When somebody is angry, they are angry, and sometimes they're angry at something else that's not you.
Has
And
nothing to
because
do
you're
with
the
you.
person that's in front of them, sometimes they can project or direct that towards you. But understanding that you don't have to take everything personally.
Yeah.
Yes, don't take everything personally. Yes, I want to caution that what we do does have an effect on people and
Yeah.
does affect people for sure. Like, we can't just go around being mean and being unkind and thinking, oh, it's on them. Absolutely not. You have a responsibility to still show up as your authentic self and make sure that other people feel great about themselves as much as you can. Know your boundaries. If you've done your best and it still wasn't good enough for somebody, then be okay with saying, I did my best and this is now on them. Again,
Yeah.
those boundaries. So mindset really helped me because it built my resilience,
Yeah.
my ability to bounce back. Yeah, I cried 2 times on this campaign and I thought, can we do this? Can the team and I pull this off
Yeah.
without many resources? But I tell you, Amanda, what happened on this campaign is each time that I faced a challenge, literally within 5 minutes, I would get a phone call, I would get a text message, I would get an email with a piece of good
Wow.
news.
Yeah.
Each and every time, this is what happened. Sometimes I would sit in my car and cry and be like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Can do this. And then, I would remind myself why I was doing it. And then remind
Yeah.
myself that it was never meant to be easy,
Yeah.
right? It's hard work.
Yeah.
And therefore hard work is going to be hard. But I needed to get back in the game. And as soon as that happened, I would get some sort of support. Again, a reminder that we are not doing this alone. We don't have to do this alone. And
Yeah.
that showed up and played out for me throughout this whole campaign, that we are a community and we need each other no matter what we're going through. And so mindset was really important in terms of just maintaining a healthy relationship with myself, in relation to just making sure that what was happening in my external environment was not a reflection of me. And that, I needed to separate what people were doing.
Oh no. I don't know. We just lost something. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I think we went over time, but anyhow, yes, your mindset is really important. Just knowing that there are things that you can control and what you can control, and being clear about that, it really helped me. What I could
Right.
control, I worked on. What I couldn't control, I knew that right away. This is not something that I can control, and you don't waste your time and your resources in trying to control an outcome that you have no guarantee that you can actually influence, right? So you're better directing your resources and your energy
Yeah.
towards something that can bring about a change and a transformation. And so that is what I did. That is what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what are the daily habits? Because sometimes it's, it starts from there. What you say in the morning, what you tell yourself in the morning. But with you, what are some of the daily habits or mindset shifts that you practice that keep you grounded and focused?
Okay, so for people that know me, like my close friends and family would
Yeah.
know that I severely lacked confidence so many years ago.
Yeah.
That I was a people pleaser, that I could not stand up for myself. I was a doormat, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would just be a servant to everybody and anybody and had no boundaries at all. But that's not the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
Now I know how to stand up for myself. And so those habits just include reminding myself that I have the power, that I am entitled to the same things that other people demand from me.
Yeah.
I am also entitled to those things. I'm
Yeah.
entitled to taking care of myself. I'm
Yeah.
also entitled to, asking for help when I need
Yeah.
it, and that it shouldn't be unexpected.
Yeah.
And also that I'm very positive. I
Yeah.
believe that everything happens for a reason. And so you won't find me complaining when something doesn't work out, because I believe that there is a reason why it didn't work out.
It didn't
So
work
you
out.
won't find me worrying a lot. I no longer worry a lot about things, because
Yeah.
I know that I am supported,
Yeah.
either through community or because of my belief in a higher power that supports me. I believe in God, and I believe that God takes care of me and meets my every need. And so just sometimes surrendering things. I surrender a lot of things.
A lot of things.
And it's
Yeah.
not giving up. This is different from giving up. Surrendering is saying that this is out of my hands. I realize where my power lies and where my boundaries go, but I'm now leaving this to God to take care of. That really helps me a lot. And so overcoming worry has been the greatest transformation for me. Don't worry, people. Don't worry. It doesn't help. If you can do if you can do something about this situation that you're worrying about, do
Yeah.
that. If you can't, then why worry? So
Exactly.
it doesn't help. It only just broods negativity, and you start bringing that negative energy. So I repel negative energy right away. Whenever I
Yeah.
find myself thinking, I can't do this, and it happens. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That voice that says you're not good enough, you shouldn't be here. It shows up. But
Yeah.
now I know how to quiet that voice. I just acknowledge it and say, okay, this is my old self, still trying to show up. It's still trying to protect me, but that is no longer the person that I am. I am
Yeah.
more resilient now. I'm more knowledgeable. I've
Yeah.
grown. And so I believe that I can get up, dust myself up, and do it again. And so that has really shifted just my life in general. And I
Oh,
laugh a lot. I laugh a lot. So humor, like I go and watch reels and just laugh so
laugh.
much
Yeah.
that sometimes when people hear me laughing, they're like, what's happening? What's
What's
happening?
that?
What are we missing? What are
I
we missing?
know.
And people have commented that, when we hear Lindsay laugh, we're like, oh my goodness.
What's
That
going
comedy
on?
is real for them when they hear me laughing. I laugh
Yeah.
a lot, just
Yeah.
and being joyful.
Yeah.
Honestly, even my kids have described me. My daughter 2 Christmases ago said, I just love how my mom is joyful. Not that I don't go through
Through stuff.
challenges and
Yeah.
moments of cry. I do cry, I do worry, but I get out of that quickly. And so
Mm,
my dominant nature is just joyful.
joyful. Yeah.
Yes, I am very, very joyful because I try not to worry as much. And so, yeah, I laugh a lot. Humor is great. Have a great sense of humor and it
Yeah.
will help you go through those tough times and days.
Which is so true. Trust and believe. Laughter is it's so
It's the best medicine.
that's the one thing I love. I actually heard feedback from people. And they say, you know what, we love Amanda's, interviews. She's so, eloquent at and she knows what she's asking and she knows. But the one thing that she laughs a lot. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my superpower, honey. And that's my superpower. And it is
Absolutely.
you understand, because that's what makes Amanda, and it makes life so much easy. And it makes you, calm down in situations that you feel like, oh, I should be stressing over this situation. But guess what? I would rather laugh it out more
Yes.
than
Yes.
anything. Yeah, because there's
Absolutely.
one time we had network issues with, people in areas that have network issues. And they're like, how were you able to hold yourself and still continue? And I was like, I don't know, because it's just network, right? I'm like, why make it a big deal? It's something that's beyond my own control, right? And just laugh about it and then move on, and then life goes on. So as we round off, how then, when it comes to identity, culture, and representation, what message do you hope your journey sends to young Black girls and women watching from the sidelines, right? Who may not know their identity, who may not know what culture is and representation, whether in politics or personal purpose?
I would say identity is really important. Know who
Mm,
you are.
yeah.
And one tool that I would share is go deep with your story right from the
Mm,
beginning. Yeah, talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, connect with your roots. I share a story that it was my grandmother who put me on top of a rock and asked me to narrate a story to our village when I was 8 years
mm,
old,
mm,
right? And so that to me was a stage that she put me on. And she basically told me that I had a voice and that I
mm.
should use that voice.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, yes, she gave me the confidence to say, I deserve to be heard. I have
Yeah.
something to say, and I have a stage on which to say it. So if you see a stage, whatever your stage is, define that for yourself. Step on it
Yeah.
and speak up and act whatever you
Mm,
feel called to do. So really connect with your story. Who are you?
yeah.
Who are you meant to be? What
Yeah.
are the things that have happened in your life, both the highs and the lows? Map
Mm,
those out. And if people want, I have a tool that I can actually share that says, okay, when I was 8 years old, this happened, and this is how it changed me. Or
okay.
when I was 15 years old, this happened, all the way to who you are now. And then look at that and say, who is this person that has gone through
Mm,
all these things? Like put it in front of you and actually see, and then start connecting with that person. You realize that you have a unique story that nobody else has,
yeah.
that each and every experience that you went through was preparing you for this moment, whatever
Mm,
moment you're in. And then realize, what does the world need right now?
yeah.
What do I feel called to do? How
Yeah.
can I step up? in my own power, with my own experiences, in my own uniqueness. Don't feel the pressure to be like somebody else. Resist that. I still feel the pressure to be like some other people around me to this day. But like we said earlier, resist that. You can never be who you were not meant to be. And the reason why we struggle sometimes in life is because we are not authentic to who we are. That is the only reason why we struggle. The moment we are authentic to who we are, we don't struggle. So connect with your story. Be very clear about who you are and what is your purpose. Why do you think you're here? Why do you think you exist? What were you meant to do? And then step up with that. And then talk about, I'm seeing the comments here.
I know. This was hilarious. I thought I should put it out there.
Says, no, not me. I will be grumpy old man. 100%. That's gonna be the prophecy. You're prophesying right there. No, change that 100%. It starts with what you say about yourself. So you are not going to be a grumpy old man. But if you keep saying it, that is exactly what will happen. But you know what? Change that. Change the conversation with yourself first and foremost. You are the person you spend the most time with. And so you're talking to yourself the most. So whatever you say to yourself is what is going to manifest. So start saying, I am going to be the happiest old man under the sun.
Exactly.
Creating that. It will happen. Believe me, it will happen. So yes, be proud of who you are, even as a woman. As young girls, yes, I have had, some of my nieces saying, oh my goodness, we can totally do this. Like it's something different seeing somebody running for political office, right? Than somebody you don't know. So for my family and my nieces and my nephews, I know it's hit very different for them because they know me and they're like, oh, this is auntie, this is mom. Oh, she did. My kids were just like, you're running for office? And I'm like, they're like, oh, okay.
I know. Right?
Okay, that's cool, mom. That's cool. Just like
actually, trust me, it hits differently. It does hit differently when you know somebody who is, especially with me and you, right? Because I was like, huh? But you know what? No, I'm not surprised, right? And then we laugh about it and we're like, oh my gosh, I just pray, right? And then imagine in your own household, right? Your own kids and stuff like that. Yeah.
So yes, so step up. You have something to say. Don't feel the need to fit in. Whatever culture, identity you have, there is something in your culture, in your upbringing that made you who you are, that you can bring to this space. So, born and raised in Zimbabwe, for example, or wherever, and you're in Canada right now, don't lose your roots. There is something about who you are and what you went through that your culture, your family, your ancestors taught you, or your family values that you can bring here. I'm known for storytelling. I share everything using stories. And I love that. And I relate, and I use some of our Shona words in meetings. And I say, in my culture, this is, and then I explain a point. And that resonates with people. People love authenticity. They're like, that's new. And so do that. Like, don't shy away from your culture. Just say, even when you're presenting numbers or whatever it is, it doesn't matter how big of a meeting it is, bring something from your culture in there and share it. And I always share this adage from our culture that says, one man cannot, it's hard to translate it to English.
I
know, but you know that. I always share that. I always used to share that when I share about community. I use that everywhere I go. And I say, in my language, we have this saying that says, one person cannot go around an anthill, whatever it is. That's hard to imagine, but they get the point.
Exactly.
Share that, bring that, and then they say, oh, you know what? There's actually unique wisdom here that we have, a perspective that we don't have, that only Lindsey can bring to this space.
Exactly.
So believe that you are unique for a reason. And that uniqueness is your difference. Bring that, bring your culture, bring your language, bring your values, your wisdom from your grandmother, bring it to meetings, professional settings, bring it.
I like that because that's what makes you different. That's what makes you unique, right? And it's so funny you say that because that's exactly what sometimes I do. And I'm like, no, but in my culture, just so you know, it's
Right.
done this way, you know. But then again, this is where when you're now learning different cultures and you're like, whoa, but now it makes sense. Like I always give this example. I have a Black American girlfriend here in Calgary. We play golf together. And it used to bug me so much. I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I hear, oh yeah, pro Black this, pro Black that, I'm like, no, I think people are just being overboard. Do you understand? But
Right.
then at the same time, I did not realize that this and even when we're playing golf, she's like, oh yeah, Black women, this black, black, black. And I'm like, girl, you're just overdoing it. But now I get it because I sat down and said, no, but I came from where I was the majority.
Right.
Right? And I'm like, so to me, it's normal. Like, yeah, it's normal. Like, it's normal being Black, but why is it you're making it seem as if it's that special? Which it is, don't get me wrong, it is actually. But then, you know, the mentality was just different, right? And then now you live in a country where you're the minority, and then you see a lot of things that are happening, and you're like, oh, I get it. You understand?
Right.
And then what you bring to the table every time is like, in my culture, this is how we do A, B, C, D. You know, and then we educate each other. And there's lots of things that even up until now, she's like, wow, why is it you African sisters are like this? I was like, sis, you do not want to start with me right now because I will tell you my culture. You know, so we educate each other in that sense. So it is so lovely to have somebody in public spaces who gets into big rooms and having to represent their own and speak over their own culture, and hoping that it will actually inspire, motivate even a young girl thinking, but then, you know, how do I bring up my culture in public spaces? People won't look at me. And then looking at back in the day where, give an example, some people never used to be able to use their full names in these special big social circles, but now they can. You understand? Thank God for social media. Thank God for advocating for all of this, right? Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So we're so proud of your journey, and I am so glad that you came out to speak on that, right? Because, culture and identity is the biggest thing you can ever do for yourself, and stick to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are. 100%. You are not just existing for no reason. There's a reason why you're here. And there's a reason why you are taking up this space that you are right now. Don't waste the chance. Don't waste the chance. Take advantage of the chance. Show up as your most authentic self. And you know when you're being inauthentic, you can feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Be authentic. Be authentic. Yeah.
And our grumpy old man's like, noted, I'll change. Thank you, noted. Thank you so much. Grumpy old man will love it. And thank you so much. So last but not least, last words. What's the one message that you want every listener to walk away with from today's conversation?
I would say you are unique.
Yeah.
And your uniqueness is your superpower.
Yeah.
Those are the words that I would say. Your uniqueness is your superpower. Show up as your most authentic self, exactly as who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. Otherwise, you're going to miss the mark. Just be you. Just be you.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you heard it for yourselves. This was a lovely conversation. Lindsey, thank you so much for coming through, just showing up. Not just showing up really, but then showing up fully. I love the fact that you're so authentic regardless of whatever spaces that you're in, but you show up fully with your heart, depth, and power. But then your story reminds me of it reminds us that leadership isn't about titles or timelines. It's about impact. It's about integrity. It's about intentions, right? And another thing that I got to learn actually in this journey, like with time, is being intentional about everything that you do, right? When you have your why, know your intentions with your why. But as you continue to walk boldly in purpose, we're reminded that sometimes the shortest races reveal the strongest runners. And you just proved it right there. And the numbers, like I said, do not lie, and got us really proud of you. And we're cheering you on. And we can't wait to see what's next for Lindsey. We know, like I said, this is not the end. This is not over. And we look forward to more. And so it's so exciting. It is exciting. It hits differently when you kind of know the person personally. But you know what? Thank you so much, Lindsay, for coming through. It's amazing. It
Great.
was
Thank you so
amazing.
much,
It was a
Amanda.
good moment.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your space with me and putting me in front of your viewers. Really appreciate that. Thank you. I love that about you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We try our best, and we just at first we started representing just Zimbabweans in the diaspora, but we got so many requests from even Africans from other communities, and it used to hurt, saying no, I only our radio station represents Zimbabweans, but we needed to change the narrative, and it's so amazing because we get to hang out with phenomenal people from different African countries, and you're like, wow, this is how you do things. I didn't even realize the western part of Africa is like this and southern is different. So thank you so much. We really love what we do here, and the team behind After5 Radio, so phenomenal. And yeah, there's a lot more to come. So I actually, you inspired me. You inspired me. I know a lot of people will be like, when I saw that, I was like, Amanda, like, why are you sitting?
You can do it. But like you said, it takes intention and be you. Don't feel the need to water the version of you so you can fit in rooms. Absolutely not. Just be who you are and just be authentic. Whatever is on your heart, share that. And like I said, if you feel you're called to be kind, if you feel you're called to share being confident with others, do that. Do that. If that's the one thing, if that's the one thing that you feel called to do, show up as that.
And it'll open more doors on what you actually didn't even know about yourself. Right? So it's quite interesting. But thank you so much, Lindsay, for coming through. I'm just gonna have to let you go. I know we went beyond time, but there's a lot to learn, and this is why I let people be. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, Amanda, by the way, how long is it gonna take? I'm like, oh, really? Okay, it'll be 30 to 45 minutes according to how long you speak. So, because again, keeping in mind, I will be having so many questions, and we got to skip a plethora of questions, just so you know. So, but then you brought valuable stuff. Like I said, you showed up fully with your heart and depth and so much power. And we really love that and appreciate that about you. And we look forward to more and your journey in the near coming future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you.
No worries.
For watching.
All right. Thank you so much. I will
Bye.
let you go. All righty. So to our listeners, thank you so much for staying tuned, stay inspired, stay grounded, and just remember that your voice matters. Even Lindsay said, just be you, and your story does matter. So don't think, that, oh yeah, what will my story bring to the table? Maybe it's the same old thing, but maybe people won't even listen to me. But guess what? It's coming out of your mouth to say maybe people will not listen to me. But you know what? Believe in your words. Believe in whatever vision that you have, because that vision is not just for you. That's another thing that I've actually learned in my journey. It's not for you, but it's for people out there. It's for you to serve more than anything. But thank you so much for tuning in, to all amazing listeners and viewers. Thank you for tuning in to After5 Radio, your favorite online radio station, celebrating Africans in the diaspora. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And did I actually put, by the way, before we even go, please do go follow Lindsay on her socials, which was the last bit that was supposed to actually talk about before she left. Follow her on the social media or on IG, Lindsey Machona, and then I think on Facebook and everywhere else, like LinkedIn, which is where she's also mostly active, is just type in Lindsey Machona and you will find her there. And thank you so much for doing that. And also do follow us on our Instagram page, After5Radio.Africa, if you don't already, as well as Tough Love TLG, TLG standing for Tough Love Giggles, on After5 Radio, where you get to see who's next or who did we get to sit down with. And then if you missed the interview, you can actually go and catch up with us on there. But like I said, if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button, and share this episode with your friends. Whew, it was so rich, guys. It was absolutely rich. Exactly what I expected and more. So let's keep spreading the love and the vibe. Until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep celebrating the culture. This is your host, aka the Hype Lady, Miss ThandoAmy, signing off with love. Take care. God bless you. And guess what? I love ya. Alrighty. Bye for now.
JJC, this all's gonna come back. Oh no, it's the remix. Troublemaker, don't come. Kuchichiski say, yo, Zimbabwe, we ball hooray. Africa, we are ThandoAmy. Let's come together with one family. Let's make history from today. JJC, I'm from Nigeria. It doesn't matter to leave anywhere, Jira. And if you have no fear, don't stand and stare. Put your fist in the air. All I wanna hear is we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Come on, Africans.
As soon as I said foot on African soil, that's when I get in touch with African style. The Africans and show me African smile. African talent that are well versatile. See African very calling artists, African the wisest, African the smartest, the mentor, the voice and the juice of the artist. Zimbabwe, we are the breakfast. Listen up. I'm slanging at the nation, back again with the remix selection. From London to Zimbabwe, all the Africans know we start the party. And if you know it, put one out in the air. Scream and shout like you just don't care. African people, if you're strong and proud, repeat after me and say, we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Africans.
I am an African child. Zimbabwe is where I be from. They be checking my style, my swag, my flow. Can't push me cause I know I'm sweet. Got diamonds and gold in Africa. Rhythm and blues in Africa. Beautiful women in Africa. In Africa.
Let's even from Zimbabwe. All of my trade in the street of Ferrari. But I was born in Mazingo. And that's why me talking a lingo. Imbai, kananga nyimbo. Mribam with your day. Na PK, Kaz and JJC. We one big family. Because we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans. We are Africans. Come on, Africans.
Me a roll out the ghetto, me a youth from Africa. King Selassie rule from out of Africa. The best body girl come from Africa. All the diamonds and gold from Africa. 27 years him spent in a prison just to liberate people in Africa. Nelson Mandela. From Niger to Zimbabwe, UK back to Africa.
We never culture rare as denied. Everybody on the African style. Our music make you go wild. I know you get it, get it. We flex, we dress to impress. We call for the best, put us to the test. And it ain't no stress, no settle for less. Cause we are Africa.
We are Africans. We are